Let's start standing. I'm just going to roll through the wrists, finding a hips width feet. Try and flex the toes off the mat a little bit and just spread through the feet, that kind of extend through the big toe and all through the toes as if they're stabilizers, and then just set them down gently on the mat. And then just take that little wrist wiggle maybe into an elbow movement. And then maybe up into the shoulders as well, as you just lift your hands up. It doesn't need to be anything structured, just something that feels like you're getting through wrists, elbows, and shoulders. Maybe start to raise the hands over your head. Still reaching through the toes a little bit, so you feel really stabilized through the feet. Engage the quads. And then interlace the fingers and press them upwards. Reach through the arms, maybe start to reach up and look towards the ceiling, trying to straighten the arms, reach the shoulders a little higher. Take a full breath. And then exhale. As you exhale, press through flexed hands as if you're in the inside of a barrel. Take the arms a little further back, slowly reach out through the insides of the barrel. Good. Again, we're just going to take a little journey up, wrists, elbows, shoulders, strong thighs, rooting down through the legs, interlacing the hands. Take a big inhale. Exhale, press up through the arms, reach down through the legs. And then set the head center. Take a big inhale. And exhale, slowly out, pressing through the arms. Good. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. And just take a moment here in mountain pose, perhaps closing your eyes. And finding that fullness of breath. So taking 3 full breaths here. Find your own access, however long it takes to inhale fully and exhale fully. Try and notice if there's any constriction that you can relax. Okay, Joanna's going to join. That's great. Awesome. Drop the chin down to the chest. Take the chin for a big circle around. Slow and steady. Notice if the breath is changing. Can you start to try to control the breath as you move? Going the other way. Taking the chin and nose for a big circle. And then just bringing your head back to center and dropping right ear to right shoulder, catching with your right hand the left forearm so that you're getting a gentle stretch down the side of the neck. So I'm probably not mirroring you here, but find your mountain legs very strong, engaged quads, pull up against the waist so you're nice and tall, letting the head fall over to the side, shoulders draw down. And finding that fluid rhythm of breath. Take one more full breath here. Maybe breathing out through the mouth. Then release the arms. Just help the head back up to the center. Take a little turn to the left and right with your nose. Really targeting the side of the neck and shoulders, and lots of side body stretches. We're going to take the left ear to the left shoulder and catch left hand to forearm here and work the stretch on the other side. Trying to find that lengthening inhale and exhale completely. Have the impression perhaps that when you're inhaling through your strong legs, you're drawing the energy up from the ground. It's helping you to rise up a little bit from the waist, maybe growing a little taller. Shoulders slide down the back. One more breath here. Awesome. Relax the arms and maybe help that head back up and turn the nose right side and left side. Just exploring the space there. Awesome. And now rooting through the arms, rooting through the legs, sorry, reach up through the arms. And take an exhale as you fold forward, letting the head go. You're maybe going to nod your head and shake your head, make sure it's nice and long at the back of the neck. Wave your weight forward to your toes. Use your hands as stabilizers. Maybe you've got blocks here. Just waving forward and then reground the feet, extend through the toes, draw the belly in as you lift your head up, half lift. And then exhale with fingertips to ground, slide the right leg back and plant the right hand. As you turn to the left side, take a gentle twist here. I'm going to take this left hand for a big circle. Taking 2 circles if you can. Really slowly and methodically to feel the shoulder move in its full direction. Slide back into a plank or half plank. Take a big inhale. Fill the upper back and then exhale, drop to your knees, resist to the ground. Point the toes and inhale as you lift belly, chest, throat higher. Cobra. Exhale, drop down and push back into feet together, knees apart, child's pose. Let the head drop down completely to ground. See if you can reach your sit bones back a little bit more. Walk the fingertips forward, lifting the wrists and the elbows. We're quite active in the upper arms. Take another 2 breaths here, feeling the back of the body fill with air. Feeling the joints, the shoulders, and the hips maybe soften on the exhale. Good. Walking the fingers all the way over to the left side, moving the right arm as far across to the left side as it'll go. Sit back into your feet. Sway your hips over the right foot if you can. Find this right side stretch. Fullness of breath. Relax the shoulders on the exhale. One more breath. And then walk the hands all the way around to the right side. Reach the left arm as much as you can. Walk the fingertips to the right side of the left hand. Sway the pelvis over the left foot. Soften the shoulders, let the head be heavy. 2 more full intercostal breaths. Feel the ribs move. Good, and then spin yourself all the way back to center. Rock onto your all fours. Tuck the toes as you arch the spine, inhaling. Exhale as you press through strong arms. Set the hips high in downward facing dog. Look between your thighs. Lift the heels as high as they'll go. And then slide the heels right side. Move into both arms. Send the hips high. Lift both heels and set the heels left side. Root through both arms. Hips are high. Come back to center. Find a regular dog. Try and send the heels backwards, downwards, hips high. And then set yourself forward, right foot between hands. Left hand comes down, so we're in a lunge and we're twisting to the right side. Take the arm up and then send the shoulder in this full 360-degree motion. Upper arm reaching towards the hand. Good. Fingertips in front of you. Take a big inhale as you glide forward. Parallel feet, half lift. And exhale as you drape forward and down. Let the head go. Let the neck move freely. Send your weight a little bit more forward. Take that weight into your hands and reach the hips high. The thighs are quite toned. Soften the knees as you rise and reach. Exhale as you press out through the hands. If you take the hands behind you a little bit more and interlace them if you can. Make sure the shoulders are up, back, and down before you clasp. And then press out through the arms if that feels good. So we're going for this collarbone stretch, upper chest stretch, shoulder stretch. Awesome, and release. Take a full round of breath here in mountain pose. Just take notice. Your first vinyasa of the day. So let's get a little more wiggle on. Cross the right foot across the left, reach the arms up and bow forward. Look to the left foot. Set yourself back. Step left foot across right. Bow forward, look right side. Set yourself back. Good, take an inhale as you reach both arms up and cross right foot over left, bending the knees to lock them in, squeezing the thighs towards each other. Reach over to the left side, stretching as you sit down a little bit. I'm going to show you this way. Come back to center, take an inhale and exhale to the other side. Good, take an inhale and really sit down. So imagine you're in a chair, squeeze the elbows back, lift the heart. So we have cactus arms. Perhaps reach the hands back to interlace and squeeze, rooting back through the arms. So we're feeling like we're in a chair. Both feet are very connected to the ground. Right toes face in and root downwards. And the knees and thighs lock in together. So there's real engagement going on. Good, we're going to separate the feet and try on the other side. Take a moment here, mountain pose. Feel the engagement, the grounding foundation. Cross left foot over right, turn the toes in. Sit down to link the thighs and the knees together. Take an inhale to lift and exhale as you move over to the left side. The hips can sway a little bit, feeling for outside stretch. Come back to center, big inhale. And exhale, reaching left side, right side, sorry. Come back to center. Exhale as you cactus your arms, lift the chest and perhaps connect the arms and squeeze the shoulder blades together. If you're not connecting the arms, you can just fist your hands and reach backwards with one arm at a time. Good, relax, take an inhale. Reset your feet, mountain pose. Exhale, take your hands all the way back and interlace the hands here. We're going to fold forward, hugging in the waist, softening the knees if you would like. Let the head go, shake and nod your head. And then on the next inhale, lift your shoulders to the ears, pull them back away towards the ceiling, and then reach the knuckles upwards. Straightening the arms if it feels good. Still relaxing the neck. Maybe toning the thighs so that the hips raise higher and the head comes lower. Keeping your feet engaged, toes extending. One more breath. Just feeling this nice opening for the upper body and the back line. Take an inhale, half lift. Exhale, slide the left leg back. Plant the left hand down and twist. Good, plant the hand, slide back into a plank or a half plank. Big inhale here, doming the upper back, filling the upper back with air. And exhale as you reach forward with the shoulders and resist for chaturanga. Slowly, use your knees if you would like. Point toes. Inhale as you rise. Shoulders come all the way back and down. Heart lifts through. Exhale, come all the way back and slide toes to ground and ready for downward facing dog. Moving into this downward dog here. Relax the neck and shoulders. Make sure the neck is long. Let the shoulders be moved towards the ears as you root through the arms and set the weight high. Set the hips high. Good. Slide the left leg forward. Step between the hands. Come into a lunge. Right hand is down. Left hand reaches up. Feel the twist. Keep lifting the inner leg. of the back leg. So we're not dumping too much. And then fingertips come forward, feet come between the hands, lift, lengthen, big inhale. And exhale as you fold, nose between the thighs. Soften the knees as you rise, big inhale. And exhale, cross right foot over left, maybe interlace the hands, look left side. Come forward to center, big inhale. Exhale, left foot over right, look right side. Come back to center. Cross right leg over left. And squeeze the thighs. Dip down and sit into your chair. So both feet are very grounded. Right toes are on the ground. Heel is lifted. So we're going to feel for this outer hip connection. Really strong thighs. This whole root grounding down from the waist. And then we rise from the waist. Arms come up. Tip over to the left side. Look down. Inhale, come back to center. Ground through the feet, tip over to the right side. Look down. Good. Inhale. Interlace the fingers behind you if it feels good. Still sitting down here. Lift and open through the chest. And then free the arms as you set the hips higher and fold forward. Nose towards your knees. So we still have a connection in the thighs, but we're not so much bending. We're trying to tone the thighs and lift the hips. We're coming into this forward bend. Use your fingertips to support you. Let the head be long. Take one more full breath here. Fill the belly, fill the ribs and the chest. As you exhale, draw the nose a little closer to the knees. Inhale, wave your head forward, half lift. And take your hands all the way over to the right side, stretching your left hand right side as much as possible. We're getting this side stretch as well as an outer leg stretch. Take another breath here. Walk the hands all the way over to the left side. So you might need to recenter your balance. We're still pressing down from both legs, engaging the feet, reaching the right hand across. I'll show you sideways. And then come back to center, half lift. Plant the left hand down and open the right hand up towards the ceiling. And then drop down. So just see how this moves. See, maybe we need to have a block here. Maybe you're not really doing much of a twist. That's up to you. Working back down. And then really sitting into that chair again, connecting the thighs, sitting down into the chair and rising. Pressing up through the hands. Pressing out, exhaling. And then wrap right hand over left. And squeeze your forearms. Your right leg is on top, your right arm is on top. So we're sitting down. If you feel bold and you want to fly, go ahead, wrap the right foot. If that's your practice, keep squeezing the thighs towards each other. Inner thighs are very active. Eagle pose. We're just stay grounded. Take one more full breath. Focus. And then unravel directly to set yourself back into a high lunge. Release the arms. Take a big inhale, sending your chest high. And exhale. Hands, fingertips towards the ground. Exhale as you hug back the left hip and come into pyramid pose. Try and keep the hips square. You can bend the back leg if you need to. Nose coming down towards knees. Keep rooting down through the heel. Don't worry if you're not getting a straight leg. Don't fight it. Try and find softness in the joints, the hip, the knee, and the ankle. Drive the energy down into the ground through the heels. You hug your hip back. Good. Bend in the knee. Slide the right foot back if you need to. Find this low lunge, runner's lunge. Planting the right hand and twisting. Good. Bringing your both hands into the inside of the leg and planting the right foot down. We're still drilling down with the left heel. We're going to bow forward, top of the head towards the ground. Keep setting your hips a little higher. So we're getting an outer hip sensation, perhaps not a stretch, but certainly an action. Bowing the head down, using your hands as support. Still very engaged through the legs, so the hips stay a little high. Awesome. Half lift. Slide yourself onto the knee. Taking your right hand all the way up and then turning into a twist. So drawing the waist in. So if you've had breakfast recently, you might not want to do these twists too deeply. Find a connection. Go easy on the twist if your belly has food in it. Try and move the belly, ribs, and chest. Try and lift the belly and the chest off the thigh. If you feel strong here, try and send the top of the head forward and the right leg lifts. Coming into this balance. Keep drilling down through the left heel. So again, we should be quite active in the glutes here, and the hamstrings. Take one more full breath. And we're going to prepare to unravel fluidly, ground the right heel and come into warrior two, reverse. Exhale as you move forward into Parsvakonasana, either hands to the ground or arm on your thigh. Move the belly, ribs, and chest round towards the ceiling, ground through both heels. Maybe set the hips back just slightly to really connect the muscles around the adductors and the abductors, around the glutes. Keep rounding through the right leg and inhale, straighten the front leg as you twist back. Revolve triangle, reverse triangle, sorry. Exhale, keep drilling down through the left heel and moving forward into Trikonasana, keeping the leg as straight as is comfortable. Open or soften around the knee, and then open the belly, the ribs, and the chest towards the ceiling. Extend through the neck, maybe drop the head if the neck is strained. Good, soften the knee, open up into your warrior, and then flip forward into your high lunge again. Exhale, fingertips to ground, and hug the left hip back. Pyramid pose, second time. Keep hugging the hip back as you drill the left heel down. Finding two more soft and fluid breaths. Inhale as you look ahead, soften the knee and float the back leg in. So you are half lift, strong legs. Exhale, fold forward, nose between the thighs. Inhale as you rise all the way upwards. And exhale down to mountain pose. Taking two more breaths here. Please try and set the shoulders nice and open. Moving the shoulders under the earlobes. Feeling an engagement in the waist, drawing up in the pelvic floor and firming the thighs. Having an awareness of the ground foundation through the feet. Take an inhale as you lift up, cross left foot over right, and bow forward, look left. Come back to center, inhaling. Set the right foot over left, bow forward, look right. Come back to center. And take an inhale as you rise up and cross left leg on top of right. So left thigh is crossed, really squeezing the thighs. There's an action here. We're not just hanging out. Squeezing the inner thighs together. Back of the right knee locks into the left. Sorry, front of the right knee locks into the back of the left. And the left toes turn in to support us. Good, take an inhale. Bow forward to left side. Back to center, inhaling. Bow over to right side. Really feel into this stretch. Sit down through the legs as you reach through the waist. Come back to center. And exhale, send the arms back. Peel open the collarbones, the shoulders go back. Open the whole front body, maybe the throat and face to the sky. Good. Release and start to tip all the way forward. Bum goes high, fingertips come down. Let the head go. Back of the neck very long. Take a full inhale as you wave your weight forwards. The waist comes long. Try and find a way to be balanced through both feet. Still locking the knees. Finding that connection between both knees and then dropping the head down. While we're here, we can work to find a back of the leg stretch by lifting the hips a little higher, perhaps, maybe waving our weight forward. And then starting to move left side, reaching your right hand as far over to the left side as it can go. Finding a connection through both feet. Setting the breath. Nice and fluid. And then on the next inhale, moving to right side. Keep grounding through the left toe mount, the right foot, standing. Legs are firm, but not locking. We don't want to be rigid or stuck. Trying to find a nice fluid elasticity through the muscles and ligaments. That's the spring energies. Coming back to center, take a big inhale, half lift. Plant the left hand into the center line and open out to the right side if you can. Come back to center. And reach the other side. Just a little bit awkward, really. I'm just trying to get you to experience what might feel a little awkward. Because that's also the challenge. Sit down a little bit in your heel, into your hips, and then rise. Still sitting down, locking the thighs, locking the adductors into play. And then wrapping, taking your arms up all the way out to the side, and then wrapping your left elbow on top of right for eagle arms. If that's not right for you, you're catching the elbow, the shoulders. If you can take eagle arms, sit down a little bit more in your chair, grow up through the head. If you feel brave and you want to fly, left foot wraps around the right. Moving into a standing balance. Keep squeezing your inner thighs towards each other, drawing the navel in and up. Sit down through the feet, through the hips, and reach up through the head. Take one more breath, nice and steady. And then inhale to unravel and exhale to gently step back. Coming into a lunge, reaching all the way up. I saw that, so much grace in that. Reach up in your high lunge, really open the front body, ground to the back toe. And then exhale, straighten the front leg, bow forward and down. Drill down through the right heel, hug the right hip back. Nose drops down to knee. Relaxing your shoulders and the length of your neck can be felt. You can always bend the back leg to find space here. And then inhale as you bring yourself forward back into a lunge. Plant the left hand and open out to the right side. Feeling into this twist. Good. Coming back to center. Drop onto the knee. Inhale as you reach up into an Anjaneyasana. And then take the left elbow to the outer thigh and twist. So make a connection. Really lift the belly, the ribs, the chest off of the thigh. And then maybe start to turn them to the right side. Trying to keep the spine nice and long and the top of the head is reaching forward. So we're never really wanting to twist with a bent spine. We're better to have an easier twist, and a longer spine. So see what feels right there. If it's okay for you, we're lifting the back knee, left inner thigh is very active, hips are high. And we're going to unravel. We'll just find your way into a reverse warrior. Bend deeply in the right leg. And exhale as you dip down into Parshvottanasana, wide angled fold, or you can be on your thigh here. Turning the belly, the ribs, the chest gently towards the ceiling. Rounding through the back heel and the front heel equally. Enjoy these open stretches. These are the dynamic strength and length at the same time. Good, one more breath, exhaling completely. And then inhale, front leg extends, reverse triangle. Exhale, moving into full triangle. So again, start at your foundation. You can soften the front leg and then start to hinge the hip back to engage this straightness. Rotate the belly, ribs, chest, look up or look down. Listen to the neck, what's right for it. Maybe the ear drops to shoulder. Then take a full inhale, look down, soften the knee and rise all the way up. Revolved warrior, reverse warrior, and then flip onto your toes, come back into a high lunge. Big inhale here to reach up, and exhale as you hug the right hip back and set yourself up for pyramid again. This time, draw the navel in and try and think about squeezing the thighs towards the center line. Draw inwards, coming perhaps a little deeper this time in your pyramid pose. You might even play with taking the hands out of play, seeing how strong you can be in your legs without using your hands as stabilizers. Drill down through the front heel, hug in the core. And then bring the fingertips forward, look ahead. Step yourself, both feet to the front of the mat. Soften the knees and rise. Bring the hands up and then down to the heart center. And take 2 more breaths in mountain pose. Steady your attention. Explore the sensations through the body. Good. Reaching the arms up, step right foot across left. Bow forward, look behind you. Come back to center. Big inhale. And exhale, left foot comes across, bowing forward. And coming back to center. Taking an inhale as you reach upwards, and exhale as you sit down into a chair and sweep the arms backwards. Your knees are bracing. If you need to, you can brace the outer knees, or you're taking your arms backwards into a half chair. Grow to the top of the head, and then inhale as you sink a little bit deeper in towards your heels and lift your chest. We're taking 2 more breaths here in chair pose. Try and really work with the back arch and lifting, curling open the heart. Exhale as you bring your hands behind you and drop yourself forward, ribs to thighs, head is heavy. On the next inhale, tone the thighs and try and send the heels a little further apart energetically, spinning the upper thighs, the upper hamstrings out to the sides a little. We're spreading the hamstrings wide, taking the shoulders over our nice and open, hands towards the ceiling. And then inhale as you lift, half lift. Slide both legs back into a plank. And exhale as you fold forward and down. Point the toes and inhale as you rise into cobra. Roll the shoulders all the way back, open the throat. Exhale, lower down. And set yourself back into child's pose. Relax the head downwards and sink back into your heels. Letting the breath settle a little. I'm going to start to work up into a little bit of our joy sequence, which is side plank-ish. So do let me know if anyone has any wrist issues. If we have wrist problems, we're going to be on our forearms. So just to prepare for that, I'm going to rock up onto our all fours And to set our shoulders over our wrists. Start to get this clawing action on the ground. We're really trying to bear claw the ground. Effectively, we're trying to send our wrists downwards, but we can't because the ground is there. But we're still using that action of trying to go raw. Just really work with that. And then we're going to take the shoulders around the wrists. Still gripping at the ground, trying to send the hand downwards into the ground, coming the other way. Awesome. And then we're going to flip the hands back so the fingers are closer to our knees. So I like to actually walk my knees all the way up to the fingers. If it feels comfy, you would maybe walk back a little. So we're really getting a deep stretch here through the back of the wrist. So if that feels too strong, you know you need to come a little closer and ease off. We're working to straighten the arms. Good, and then release back. Coming backwards to the normal fingertips. And then this time we're going to flip the back of our hand down, fingers towards us. Try and spread the fingernails onto the ground. See if you can take both hands in that position. Again, your knees might want to be closer. We're trying to work our shoulders away from the ground, straightening the arms. And spreading the fingers as wide as we can. Some quite intense wrist work, almost just enabling us to feel what is going on in our wrist. So just come to sitting place and give yourself a little minute to maybe roll through the wrists again, just gently. Perhaps interlace the hands and roll the wrists. This gives us a little bit of a insight as to what's going on. So quite often what we need to work on is the wrist flexors, the forearm muscles. So that's effectively when you feel like your hand is like this and you're clawing the ground, this action is what we're using. We can feel this forearm muscle working. So that's what we're trying to strengthen in our arm balances, like our plank pose, so that we're not taking it all in these kind of weaker muscles. Okay. Press through the arms and reach up into your downward facing dog. Just maybe notice if you feel a little bit more spacious around the hands and wrists in your downward dog. Do claw the ground, try and send the hands downwards. And then we're going to set the right leg through in between the hands. Set the left knee down and flip the foot. So we're going to come up into this gate pose. Drill down through the right heel. Let's take a little side stretch over to the right side. I'm going to flip all the way back and slide this hand under the shoulder. Hopefully you can see me here. Shoulder position, very important. And we've done this already, but some of you might have missed it, or it's no harm doing it again. If our shoulder is moving forward, shoulder blade is off the back, there's no stability in our shoulder joint. We don't want to put any weight on it like that. So making the point of taking the shoulder up, back and down, up and away from us, so that the shoulder blade is locked to the back and the upper shoulder, the front of the shoulder is pointing backwards. So you might even want to turn your fingertips behind you a little bit. Just give you that. So if we're here, no good. We want to be up, back and away, and the fingertips may be away from us. That is a stable shoulder. So try that from our kneeling position. Ground into the right foot. Turn the fingers slightly to the back. Move the shoulder backwards. The upper arm comes and rolls backward. The biceps starting to turn behind us. Send the right arm high. Ground down through your right foot and feel really nice and open. Press down, root down through the arm, the back leg. And see if you can lift the waist a little bit more. If it feels good for you, we're taking the left leg out of play. We're coming into a full balance. Otherwise, just stay down on your knee. And take 2 more breaths if you can. Keep rolling that right shoulder back, opening the rib cage up towards the ceiling. Good. Reground the knee. and slide yourself all the way back up into gate. Good. Flip round, slide that right leg back and work yourself back into a downward dog. Stretching that out in downward dog. And then take the left leg forward. Drop onto the right knee, flip the foot. So we're going to rock up into gate. Left leg is forward, right foot is stabilizing us. Slide over to the left side, feeling this right leg stretch. And then moving ourselves over to the right side. Really ground into the left leg. So the toes are facing in a little bit. Really root down in that left leg. Turn the right fingers behind you. Shoulder moves behind you. Bicep rotates towards the ceiling. And then if it feels good, we're lifting left arm and reaching the waist high, the hips high in a plank pose. Keep working that the right shoulder behind you, underneath you, not forward. Never compromise your shoulder. If you feel it's not strong, just staying your knee down. It's all good. Keep lifting the waist, lifting the hip. One more breath. And then reground the right knee if it's not already. And gently rise up, bending deeply in the left leg. And reach over to left side. Turn hands either side of foot. Ground through the leg. And reach back into downward facing dog. Slide the right leg high, bend the knee, open the hip. Slide the right leg back to center and come through. Slide the left heel down to the ground and working yourself into a balance, perhaps a floating balance, or ground the outer edge of the right foot in fallen star. So again, another version of side plank. Keep rolling the lower shoulder behind you, opening the bicep forward, really stabilize that shoulder joint. And then turn towards the front after a stabilizing breath and slide yourself into pigeon pose. So the right knee is very wide, at least behind the right wrist. And then guide that left leg back. You can press up through the chest, open the collarbones a little bit here. You have this pigeon-like front body. Remember pigeon, I always did wonder why pigeon pose is called pigeon pose, but it's actually more of this puffed up chest by the pigeon. Keep tucking the back toe if you can, feeling the engagement through the back line of the body. And then start to reach forward for sleeping pigeon. Relax the head down, relax the shoulders. You're going to keep the left toe engaged. So the left toe is still tucked if possible. And as you melt down, try and relax through the face, the shoulders. Become a lot more passive here. On the next inhale, slide your hands under your shoulders again to rise through the belly and the chest. And then move yourself over towards the left side, the same side as the front foot. Hands either side, reaching as far forward as you can on your fingertips. And you may even slide over onto your right hip here and fold forward down towards that left foot. See if you can walk your right hand as far across to the left side as possible. Really working with this right side stretch. How can you walk a little bit further with your fingers? Really working this right side stretch. Setting 2 more breaths through the body. And then bringing yourself back to center. Take an inhale as you lift the belly, ribs, chest a little, look up. And this time we're going to slide the left arm underneath. So the left shoulder, left ear come to ground and relax back down again. So this time we're not all our weight on our right hip, we're still tucking our left toe. If it feels good, your right hand might come round and catch the front foot. You decide what's right for you. Good, release yourself out of that shape. Coming back to center. Grounding through strong hands, claw the ground, be very connected. Left toe is still tucked. We're going to come all the way up gracefully into a downward facing dog, three-legged, and open the right hip. Come back to center. Wave yourself forward in a plank and lower down. So we're coming to vinyasa, back to our belly. Pointing the toes, lifting belly, ribs, chest, arching the spine, looking up, shoulders back. And exhale. Sink back into child's pose. Settle with breath. 2 more breaths. Good. Rocking up onto our all fours, tucking the toes when you're ready, and exhaling. Downward facing dog. Draw the chin inwards. Really slide your heels in the direction of the ground. Tone your thighs, draw your belly in, and set the hips high and back. Ground through the right foot and set the left leg high. Open in the hips, stack the knees, stack the hips, bend the knees. Bring yourself back to center, inhaling, three-legged dog. And then exhale, come forward, waving into your plank with the knee between the arms. Ground the right heel and set yourself into a floating star or ground into a grounded star. Both are side planks, variations. Keep lifting the hips, lifting the waist, lifting the arms. If you're floating the foot, it's a great oblique workout. Really gets into the waist. And then reground yourself. Both hands come to ground, bending the left knee and sliding into pigeon. Left knee is really quite wide. Good, still grounding through the back toe. The right toe is tucked and I'm sliding the knee back as far as is comfortable. So do work with that glide. Lift the belly, ribs, chest. Use your fingertips to leverage you up into this puffy, chested pigeon. Still strong and engaged through the back leg. And then fold forward into a sleeping pigeon, relaxing the head and the arms. Trying to keep the pelvis level, nice and square. You can reach in 2 directions, hands forward, foot back. Keep engaging the right leg. Tucking the toe. Taking 1 more full breath here. Sliding hands under the shoulders, wave yourself upwards. And then walk your hands over to the right side. Hands either side of the foot, the head of the foot, and then bow forward over the foot. Reach the left arm as far over to the right side as it'll go. Walk the fingers. Slide onto the left sit bone a little if you really work for this side stretch. Feeling for a rhythmic breath if you can. And then on the next inhale, we're waving ourselves up. Back to center. Let's try and level the pelvis again. And then an optional extra, we're going to slide the right arm under, right shoulder, right ear comes to ground. And working into this sleeping twist. So we may have a little bit more weight now towards the right hip. Just listening to what feels good. If you want to, you're taking the arms all the way back and reaching for the left foot, the front foot. Keeping yourself nice and relaxed, no tension in the jaw. Finding a smooth and effortless breath if you can. Lots of perhaps awkward shapes speckled around today's flow, but with the challenge of trying to feel like you can breathe with ease no matter what. Release yourself back into center, ground through the hands, tuck the back toe, and prepare to lift, using your core, set the left leg high, open the hip, bend the knee, and then draw that leg all the way down as you wave forward into a plank and lower down resistance. Pointing the toes, rising through your upward dog or your cobra. And exhale, cross the feet, and we're going to sit all the way back. Coming into a seated position. So let's slide the left leg underneath us and the right leg on top. We come into Gallbladder arms. So right leg on top, left leg on the bottom, Gallbladder. Might actually get my mat away. Might be able to see a little bit better. So, can't see all of you, but I'm hoping that you can give you a wave if this is not an available shape for you. You can also be sitting on blankets or cushions. If you can, root down through the feet a little, with the ankles. And see if you can lift up in the waist, lift up with the head, grow up about an inch. Roll the shoulders backwards. So really opening the collarbones, nice and light in the head. I place my hands on my heels and start to bring opposite shoulder to knee, with a gentle upper back twist coming on. Good. Lift and reach with the other shoulder downwards, shoulder to knee. Come back to centered. Inhale as you rise and exhale as you go down. Keeping the neck nice and long, particularly the back of the neck. You might want to draw the chin into the neck, into the chest. Just two more on each side, just like a little wave. Maybe feeling a little bit more relief as you repeat, but trying not to try too hard. Just shoulder to knee, shoulder to knee. Going for this little elasticity through the thoracic space. Good, coming up to center again. Ground through the left fingertips and rise up to the right arm. And we bow over to the left side, creating a C shape through the spine. Look down perhaps. Take an inhale as you rise. Right hand to ground. Looking and bend, stretching over to left side. Good. Taking your arms behind you, interlacing behind you, opening up the shoulders and squeezing the shoulder blades. Releasing the arms and taking right arm over left, taking yourself back into Gallbladder arms, so eagle arms, I should say, Garudasana. If it feels okay, we're going to lift up through the elbows and exhale as we roll forward and try and hook the elbows over the knees. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the head down, starting to feel our weight. Aiming the wrists forward and the forearms parallel with the ground. If this is nothing like your shape, don't worry. As long as you're working in the same direction. Elbow towards knee, head down, and then moving your wrists forward and down in that direction. But only in a way that doesn't compromise the shoulders. Good. We should be feeling quite passive here by focusing on our breath. One more full breath here. Try not to try, definitely not holding on. Good, relax, release, send the arms all the way back and free the leg. Bravo. Not very easy. So just bring ourselves into a slightly more freeing windshield wiper leg. Just free off the hips there. So bring ourselves back to center, and we're going to come back into the same shape, Gomukhasana leg, sliding the right leg underneath us and the left leg on top. So take some time to find what works for you, trying to be in between the feet, maybe lifting the sit bones. Maybe one sit bone is slightly more lifted and not grounded. That's all right. Don't force it down. Keep the lower back and the sacroiliac nice and protected. So let your body shape dictate what the shape of the posture is, not me. You're going to lift out of the head, out of the waist, and maybe ground a little bit through the heels using your arms. So a bit of leverage there. Maybe the head comes back ever so slightly. And then start to draw shoulder towards knee. And this upper back twist. Inhale as you rise. Exhale as you drop. Try to keep the arm of the shoulder that's reaching nice and straight. So there's again another little bit of leverage going on here. Slow the breath. Slow the movement. One more here. On each side. Lift out of the waist, grow to the top of the head, around the right fingers, and take the left hand all the way over. Make a C shape. Send the waist and the ribs over to the left side so you reach the hands right. Good. Inhale and tip over to the other side. Exhaling as you reach. Take an inhale as both arms come out to the side. Press out through the arms and then roll the shoulders up, back and down. Catch the arms behind you. Send the arms back, open up in the chest base. And then release the arms. Wrapping left elbow on top of right for eagle arms. We're catching shoulders and shoulder blades here. That's just fine too. If you have the bind, squeeze the wrists and the forearms towards each other, lift the elbows. Lift a little bit higher just to open up in the chest base, and then put elbows towards knees, if that's available for you. We're in that direction. Try and keep the neck nice and loose and start to work a passive release, setting the wrists forward, the forearms forward, and weighing yourself down over your thighs. Try to find a real attention with the breath. How soft and freeing and full can it be? Make it a super satisfying inhale and a complete exhale, perhaps out of the mouth. Trying to avoid any holding around the hips, shoulders or jaw. Trying to take one more full breath of ease here. And then slowly release and work yourself up. Deep tissue movement here around the hip space. Come all the way back. Lots of stress around the outer and inner hips in order to get the energy moving and work with all the structures around those areas. Very spring vibes. Just freeing yourself off in your windscreen wipers. Good. And then crossing the ankles and coming forward here. So one of our favorite stretches of spring, frog pose. We're going to come into really stretching the adductors. So we've been quite active and strengthening this inner thigh area, the inner groin. Let's give it a nice stretch. So starting in your wide-kneed child's pose, bring yourself forward a little bit. Maybe you're on blocks. Certainly waving your hips forward to free the feet. So if that's comfortable for you, we stay here, maybe lower down and hinge the hip back a little. So the hips and knees should be eventually in line. But we start with the hips a lot more forward in order to get the space. And then shifting the hip back a little bit. We should find this is quite intense around the hip space, the groin space. Can you widen the knees a little bit more? Maybe you need to pad the knees. Just notice how you feel and try and work with what we've got. So if the feet are together still, that's fine too. As long as you can sense the stretch deeply in the groin space and the hip space. We're going to go for one more full breath here. Hopefully you found your shape that's right for you. And then we're going to start to squeeze the thighs towards each other, trying to imagine that we're drawing the knees in. So the hips lift ever so slightly. There's not actually any movement, it's more an energy movement. We're engaging the inner thigh, squeezing the thighs together. So we're activating the adductors again. Taking 2 more breaths, going for the squeeze. And then releasing the squeeze on an exhale. Just think if you can glide your knees a little wider or maybe move your feet a little bit wider. Lengthening through the neck and take 2 more long, slow, easy breaths in frog pose. Good. Bringing the feet together in your own time. And guiding the knees together in your own time. And coming into a full child's pose. Letting that settle down. Rocking yourself out of that shape. Coming to lie down on your mat. And then extend the right leg long. Just before we come into relaxation, we're going to slide our left hand under our left knee. And keep that foot and the leg quite relaxed. And then we're going to take an inhale, keep rounding through the shoulders. And as you exhale, extend the leg, but it doesn't need to straighten. Catch behind the knee, behind the thigh. And then inhale as you bend. Try and keep rounding through the right leg, extending through the left on the exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Taking 3 more. This is a really therapeutic stretch to do, and you can even do it with a block under your pelvis to lift the pelvis even more. It's quite freeing around the pelvic area. Let's try for 1 more. Take a big inhale. Exhale, set the left leg. You might be getting it straightish. And then bend the knee and cross it all the way across the body. Maybe scoop under onto your right hip and come into a full twist. So the same leg is crossing the body over to the right side. Ground both shoulders, maybe turn left ear towards ground. Taking 3 more breaths, really feeling the belly, ribs and chest squeeze with this full abdominal twist. And ease all the way back, extending through the left leg. So taking a moment before we change sides. We're just going to notice changes in either side. Does one side feel different? Perhaps not. Draw the right leg in, Catch behind the right knee and open the thigh out to the side. Put a super floppy leg here on the right side. Engage the left leg, back of the thigh is grounded. Take a big inhale and exhale, set the foot out to the side. Maybe you don't go far, it's okay. Take an inhale. Exhale, reach. Inhale, bend. Exhale, reach. Keeping the right hand just behind the right knee and around the thigh area. Go for 2 more. Inhale to bend. Exhale to reach. Maybe take an extra breath here when you're extended, reaching the right foot out to the side. And then bend the knee. Cross across the body, scoop the left hip under and come into a lying down twist. Ground through both shoulders here. Draw the left thigh across the body. Don't worry if the left thigh knee is not touching the ground or nowhere near. Maybe let the right foot drop to the ground if it can. Work with the breath. Notice you might have to unwind to inhale a little. Exhale to twist perhaps a little deeper. Coming back to center whenever you're ready. Bring both feet bent and hug them in. Ground through the neck, reach for the heels and take happy baby. So if you're in the full happy baby, that's the hands on the inside of your instep of the feet, or you're inside your knees. Try to ground the sacrum, the lower back, ground the neck, ground the shoulders. The back is not rounded here. Think of a squat. This is a really nice variation of squat where we don't have the body weight behind it. Just taking 3 more breaths if you can. Working with your eyes closed to feel the whole back line of the body grounding. From the sacrum up to the base of your head. Almost like you're pulling yourself down to ground. Rooting down. And then release the legs long, the arms long, and come into your full Shavasana. Maybe you're using a little blanket to keep you warm. If your lower back gives you a little bit of discomfort, just keep your feet on the ground and the knees bent. Maybe the knees pull inwards. Nice restorative shape. Any strain off the back. Choose what feels good for you. And be prepared to really sink deep into your Shavasana. As you inhale, without control, just notice the inhale. Imagine you're bringing the breath in from underneath you, from the ground beneath you. Lots of symbolism in springtime, that energy rising from the earth. That sleeping earth over winter, that hibernation of nature that's now shooting up. Use that symbolism. Try and get us G'd up as well, a bit of energy. Breathe in as if the earth is producing that oxygen. Which of course it is, with all these green shoots giving us all that extra fresh oxygen to breathe. Noticing if you can relax the thighs, the shoulders, and feel the weight of your head as you sink deeply into your Shavasana. Making the most of this ability to let go and be fueled by spring vibes, rising energy. Working very much with liver and gallbladder meridian lines, these are the energy lines of spring, which give us lots of twists, inner leg, outer leg stretches and strengtheners. It dominates around the waist as well. If you're practicing your own practice, do go ahead and keep up the strength building of side planks, chairs and eagle poses to strengthen the glutes and outer thighs, and lots of stretches in those directions too, wide leg stretches too. If you can relax your jaw a little bit more, maybe even let the teeth separate and the mouth open a little bit. I'm going to start to move the fingers, toes, ankles and wrists very deliberately, as if they're little green shoots coming out of the ground, nice and fresh and awakened. Taking time to feel the toes, the ankles, fingers and wrists moving. A sense of being lubricated for the day. Start to move the elbows, maybe take the wrists for a little circle, elbows, shoulders, over the head. Maybe interlace the hands as you reach into a long morning stretch. Bring the knees all the way into the chest and round your face, round the spine, face to knee. And slowly roll onto one side and take a little moment before you come up to seating. Come for a comfortable seat, maybe on a cushion. Just taking a little moment to notice your practice, notice your changes. How are you feeling? Hopefully feeling energized. Kapalabhati, abdominal breathing is a great one to give you that little bit of boost, extra energy, extra oxygen if you're needing that. Just a little something with Kapalabhati. We're not going to practice it because we've gone on a little bit, but if you want to do that, go ahead, do it yourself. It really is more about expelling the toxins, getting that CO2 out so the oxygen can be absorbed in more efficient ways. It's a reverse way of thinking of it. Keep the oxygen intake optimal. And take our hands together. The big inhale. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale again, we'll finish with an Om. Om. Nice vibration to end the practice. Say namaste.